What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Halo Effect podcast. In this episode, I'd like to ask the question. I'd like to ask you, the listener, what are your goals for 2024? We are 27 days into January. The year has started and is in full swing, and we are rocking and rolling. And so, some people say that I think January 15th or 16th is resolution like quit day or something like that. It's a day where a lot of people, give up on their New Year's resolutions. And so, if you're still rocking and rolling 27 days into the month, or even if you didn't even plan for your goals, last year going into this year, I'd like to ask you, what are your goals for 2024? It's never too late to write down your goals and, identify what it is that you want to accomplish for the year. Um, However, the earlier you start, the better, right? The earlier you start, the better. I believe this to be true. I've spoken about this before, how in 2023, I had a really good year, and I attribute it to me taking the time to plan my goals on the last quarter of 2022. And I really think that, honestly, that set up the trajectory for me to be able to have the year that I had in 2023 in my personal and in my business life as well. Just simply taking the time to write down what it is that I wanted and then reverse engineer what it is that I wanted to be able to come up with daily tasks that I needed to do on a daily basis to be able to complete and accomplish those goals to the best of my ability for that year. And so I essentially did the same thing for 2024, late 2023. I took about 3 months to really sit down and analyze. And it wasn't like I spent all day, every day on this, but periodically over the course of those 3 months, I remind myself, all right, what do I want to accomplish? What do I want to accomplish? November came around, and I started, kind of making it more crystal clear about what it is that I wanted to accomplish. And, started writing things down late November, early December, and, finish them up, latter part of December to be able to know exactly what I wanted for 2024. And I've honestly taken the same approach for the next 5 years, the next 10 years. That's in the works for me, is identifying what I want to accomplish within that time frame. I get caught up in the fact that I have these big, audacious goals, these big fucking goals, honestly, that scare the living crap out of me. And I want to be very careful about how I use the word scare, and I mean that in a good way. They scare me in a good way. They challenge me. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I'm like, can I accomplish these goals? Is this even really realistic? You know, and the other part of me is like, fuck it, just write it down. It doesn't matter. Just write down your goal and you know, work towards it every day and understand what it is that you have to do every single day. And so I think you know, the mere action of me sitting down and trying to get as crystal clear as possible about my goals and then writing them down is something that 99% of people don't do. And the 1% of people that do it have seen the results and the power of them simply writing down what they want and their goals, putting it on paper. That is challenge number one. If you have not figured out what your goals are for 2024, I challenge you today to simply write them down. Take some time, sit back, maybe step away from, the family next weekend or, any work responsibilities to really sit back and think about what it is that you want to accomplish. Because if we don't have a crystal clear idea of what it is that we want to accomplish, that sometimes we just do busy work and sometimes we just go through the motions. We don't have a target. And so we think that we have a target, but it's not clear. And sometimes we lie to ourselves or we justify, our actions, and because we're not crystal clear, we're not able to gauge, we're not able to measure our actions and the things that we're spending our energy on, um, we're not able to really track those things and see if our actions are really adding up to, us achieving and helping us achieve our goals. And so that's challenge number one, is sit back, take some time, and write down what it is that you really want to accomplish in 2024. And, some people say no limits. Some people say be realistic. What I like to be is realistic, but also push myself to know that, I can accomplish this goal. However, it's going to require work and it's going to require intention every single day, right? The second challenge that I have for you is to, once you write down your goals, tell somebody what your goals are. Tell somebody who you trust. Tell somebody who's not going to laugh at you, who's not going to look at you funny, who's not going to be jealous or envious, of your goal. Tell that person, because when you tell somebody your goals, you are speaking something into existence. You are setting the wheels in motion for that. And you start yourself, in your subconscious mind, believing that this is what you want to achieve. And you essentially set a new focus on that goal. And so now your actions are going to, complement that goal, because now it's in the back of your mind. Now you're thinking about it. Now you've put it out there. And so it's in the forefront. And so now you have a focus. And that typically motivates us with our actions to be able to do the things that we need to do. So tell somebody who you trust to, maybe, they can hold you accountable, but at the same time, by you telling somebody else, you are holding yourself accountable to be able to do what it is that you have to do to be able to achieve that goal. So that would be challenge number two, is tell somebody, whoever you feel comfortable with, but somebody who is going to hold you accountable, what your goal is. So challenge number one is write down your goal. Challenge number two is tell somebody what your goal is for the year. Challenge number three, wake up every day and look at your list and remind yourself what your goals are for this year. Remind yourself daily, so that daily you know that this is your goal, and now you have to figure out what you have to do today. That leads me into challenge number four. When you look at your goals, write down, what actions do I need to take today to be able to accomplish these goals? How many phone calls do I have to make? How many people do I have to talk to? How many hugs do I have to give? How many compliments do I have to give? How many people do I have to follow on social? How many comments, etc.? So really understand what you have to do on a weekly and daily basis for you to be able to achieve that goal. How much money do I have to save? How much money do I have to save, next week, today? Or maybe I need to start a budget by next week, and I need to cut some expenses, and I need to, etc. So that just hopefully gives you an idea of some of the things that you can do to be able to achieve your goals in 2024. Why am I so big on goals? Well, I just kind of talked about it initially when I first started this podcast episode, is because my focus on goals, guys, has really helped me, get to where I am right now. And I've never been a believer in resolutions, because I've always been a believer in action. I've always been a believer in doing things, especially that you don't want to do, and doing them anyway. I would always push myself to do things that I did not feel like doing. And this started at a young age. I started playing sports at a young age, and sometimes I didn't want to go to practice. Sometimes I did not want to go to practice. I was sore. I wanted to stay home, play video games, whatever, but I pushed myself anyways to go to practice. And this was simply on principle. This must have come from my parents and my family, because somewhere along the line, somebody told me that if you commit to something, you better show up. Once you start something, you better finish it. And there's people counting on you. Your coaches are counting on you. Your teammates are counting on you. There are people that are counting on you. And this is about so much more than just yourself and how you feel today. And so I really have taken that approach my whole life. And so that's why I never really believed in resolutions, because luckily for me, I had sports and I had people in my ear, giving me game as far as how things work. And I really adopted that. And that's what I believe in today. And I feel like that's something that's really missing in today's society is commitment and doing things even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. And, to this day, there's things that I don't feel like doing. I don't always feel like cold calling. I don't always feel like, going out and connecting, but it doesn't matter about what you feel. Your feelings do not pay the bills, your actions pay the bills. And so you need to start acting more like you want to get to where you want to get to, you know? And so resolutions for me never worked. I never believed in them. I believe in goals. I believe in writing down your goals and giving them a deadline. And from those goals, you reverse engineer them to be able to understand what you need to do on a daily basis and then track what it is that you're doing on a daily basis. For me, I'm so excited because I'm 30 years old. I've been going on 5 years into this real estate game as a real estate agent, now dabbling into investing. I'm really excited about all the time and effort and energy that I've put into this industry and this game and this thing that I do now for a living, to help people and, create opportunity for them and at the same time make money. Like, you can't leave out the fact that what you do to make money. I think that one of the lessons that I've learned is that, right? Do not be ashamed of the fact that, you want to make money, and it's okay. You should want to make money. You making money is a blessing for yourself, your family, and your community. Without money, you are limited as to how many resources or how you can be there for your community. So do not be ashamed about that, right? And so I just always go back to, what do I need to do on a daily basis? And so that's what I would challenge you all with is, write down your goals, tell them to somebody, uh, be accountable, and, make sure that you write down, you understand what your tasks are on a daily basis for 2024. And I was saying, for me, for example, like, I'm really excited for 2024 because I've invested a lot of time and energy and money into this that I call, obviously my job, real estate. Um, and, I have things that I want to accomplish. I want to start investing. I want to close the most deals I've ever closed before, help the most families I've ever helped before. But most importantly for me, what I am seeing so far, especially this year, is the person that I'm becoming now, you know? And so I say this to say to you that don't be surprised if you find out and realize that you need to become somebody new, that you need to grow a little bit to be able to accomplish the goals that you have for yourself. Now, that might scare some people, or that might worry some people, or that may flat out just piss somebody off, because comfort feels nice. Nobody wants to think about changing, because when you think about changing, you start thinking about, well, what are people going to think? Well, who am I going to become? How is it going to feel? Man, that's just weird. That's not who I am. And so all these voices, all these limiting beliefs and feelings start creeping in. And typically that is what paralyzes people, and that's what neutralizes people from taking action. And so I can't encourage you initially to write down your goals, tell them to somebody, and do all this stuff without really telling you some of the things, because this is really the important thing. Some of the things that you may be facing when you pursue these big goals that you have. Everything comes with a price. Nothing is free. Nothing is just going to be handed to us. Nothing is just going to, don't get me wrong, you do have circumstances and people, sometimes those things do play out sometimes where people, you just get like a gift from nowhere, or like an opportunity or a breakthrough from nowhere, but it's not ever from nowhere. It's something that you've created, or something that you've attracted based on your hard work and preparation. It's funny, there's a saying out there, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And that's exactly how I feel in my life. I've been through a lot of obstacles to get to where I am right now. And so people may look at me and say, oh, well, he just got lucky, or, oh, well, this and he that and he that. And I always refrain from being that type of person. Whenever I see somebody that's successful, I'm never going to sit here and try to blame them and try to say, oh, he or she or whatever. No, I'm going to try to learn from them. And that's one of the things that I've changed in my life and within myself, especially these last couple of years, whenever I see somebody that's successful, I'm always wondering what makes them so successful? Why are they the way that they are? And how can I learn from them for me to be able to create my own success? Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm, copying everything that they're doing. I'm not going to bite their style. I'm going to continue to embrace who I am, but there's always lessons in, who people are and how they move and, you know, why they become successful. And so that's a very important takeaway is that, to be able to achieve your goals, you may have to become somebody else. You may have to try something new, but just know that that comes with the territory. And at the end of the day, I could speak on this from experience. It feels really good to get to the end and knowing that you tried new things and knowing that, you stepped outside of your comfort zone or you became somebody new. And it's like you came out and it's like you're reborn. Like you feel new, you feel different. You feel like there's more possibilities. You broke out of a shell, you know? And yes, you may lose friends. Yes, you may face criticism, but that's a part of it. And the beautiful thing about coming out of that is you realize how limiting and how small thinking that is. Because if you limit yourself to only your community, you're really limiting yourself a lot because it's a really big world. And there's a lot of people out here that want to help. There's a lot of people out here that you can team up with. There's a lot of people out here that you can meet. There's a lot of people out here that you can impact outside of what it is that you grew up in. So if you are somebody that is kind of like a product of your environment and you know there's more for you. You have a feeling, you just feel it, like there's more for me. I was created for more. There's more in this world, but I feel like there's certain things pulling me down, and it may be your environment, and maybe sometimes ourselves, we are addicted to our environment and we don't even know it. So you may be facing some of those limiting beliefs. However, just know that once you come out of that growth period, you're going to come out a whole lot stronger. You're going to come out a whole lot better than you were before. So do not be surprised in 2024 if you do have to become a new person, but just know that once you become a new person, you're going to be able to attract more, be more, and earn more at the end of the day. And ultimately, that's what matters. So hopefully that was helpful for you. If you are in the process of setting new goals in 2024, thank you for listening to this podcast. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to give you guys a little bit about what my goals are for this year. And I simply want to give you guys these goals so that you know where I stand and how I don't just speak it, but I act on it as well. Because I myself create goals that I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I know that I have these goals. And so that's the very first step. Once I have the goal, then I'll figure the rest out. So my goal for this year is to close 38 properties. 38 properties. The most I've ever done in 1 year is 19. So that's basically doubling the most I've ever done in 2024 after coming off a year that was very slow for a lot of people. There was a lot of real estate agents that struggled in 2023. A lot of them left the business. And I'm sitting here after 2023, one of the toughest years of real estate, the last couple of years, saying that I want to double the amount of units that I'm closing this year. And, I'm constantly trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. Constantly. Like, where do I do outreach? How much social media do I need to put out? How much content do I need to record? How many events do I need to attend? How many people do I need to meet? How many phone calls do I need to make? How often do I ask for referrals? These are some of the things that go on inside of the mind and the life of a real estate agent. How many more investors do I meet? How many more books do I need to read? What areas of my real estate knowledge do I need to sharpen? That all plays into me closing 38 deals this year. So if you or anybody is looking to buy, sell, or invest here in Denver or in other markets across the nation, let me know. I'm happy to help. Help me out. So yeah, 38 units for 2024 is my goal. And Also, I'd like to hire people this year and bring on and start a team. Hire an assistant and continue to develop my systems and processes around real estate. To eventually hire agents. Um, I'd like to do at least 4 fix and flips. Now, here's the kicker. I don't have all of the capital to do 4 fix and flips. However, I will figure something out. The most important thing for me is writing down the goal. Now I have it in my mind. Now the conversations that I have with people are around fix and flips, understanding how they work, and finding, providing opportunities to people that have money to be able to make them more money, right? So it's all a mindset shift. It's all a perspective shift. It's all about how you look at things. My other goal is to buy 1 or 2 more houses this year. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but that's my goal and I'm going to do it. If that means me working more, whatever, I'm going to figure it out. So those are some of my goals for 2024. I hope that they're helpful. I have a couple more, different areas, just so that you can make goals in different areas. It doesn't just have to be work and finances. It could be in family and relationships. It can be health and fitness. It could be in mindfulness and spirituality. It could be in all these things. That's the beautiful thing about life, is that it encompasses different things, right? And everything is connected. So, but yeah, hopefully this podcast episode was helpful. Hopefully this podcast episode was helpful. If you have any questions, reach out to me, DM me, Ruben Halo on Instagram and TikTok. Make sure to share this episode with somebody. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. If you are looking to move into the Denver area, I am more than happy to help you out. I've been here for more than 25 years. I know this city like the back of my hand, and I'm more than happy to assist you. If you are interested in a list of properties for sale, shoot me a DM. I'm more than happy to, connect with you to see what you're looking for. But with that being said, thank you all for hopping on to another episode of the Halo Effect Podcast. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.